Good morning, everyone. I am Eduardo I. Castolo Jr., and my topic for today is all about sustainable development. If you ever wondered what sustainable development really means or why it is very important to our planet, listen here and lend me your ears. Sustainable development is the idea that human societies must live and meet their needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Specifically, sustainable development is a way of organizing society so that it can exist in the long term. This means taking into account of both imperatives present and those of the future, such as preservation of the environment and natural resources, or social and economic equity. It encouraged us to conserve and enhance our resource base by gradually changing the ways in which we develop and use technologies. Countries must be allowed to meet their basic needs of employment, food, energy, water, and sanitation. We all knew that there is a vast economic growth which lead a scarcity of environment, especially our natural resources. Earth's, na- Earth, Earth's natural resources have been used in ways that are environmentally inefficient and wasteful, with dangerous consequences such as decreased air quality and overall climate change. To embrace growth while using resource more efficiency with utmost consideration of immediate and long-term benefits for our planet and the humans who live on it. Sustainable development then exists. There are three objectives of sustainable development. 1. Economic growth. 2. Environmental protection. 3. Social inclusion. Economic growth, building a strong competitive economy by ensuring that sufficient land of the right type is available in the right place and at the right time to support growth and innovation, and identifying, then coordinating development requirements. Environmental protection, contributing to protecting and enhancing our natural and developed environment while helping to improve biodiversity, use natural resources wisely, minimizing waste and pollution, and adapting to and helping to decrease climate change, including a global shift to low carbon economy. Third, social inclusion, supporting strong, vibrant, and healthy communities by improving the supply of housing required to meet the needs of present and future generation by creating a high quality of development with accessible local service that reflect the communities needed and support its health, social, and cultural well-being. These are applied across all sectors of development including urbanization, agriculture, infrastructure, energy use, water availability, transportation. To achieve effective sustainable development, the three primary objectives must be applied simultaneously, interacting with one another in a consistent, committed effort. Applying these strategies to development means that cities must embrace low carbon growth and public transportation, smart agriculture, preservation of natural resources, and greater efficiency in energy and the global supply chain. Furthermore, sustainable development practice help countries grow in ways that adapt to the challenges posed by climate change, which will in turn help to protect important natural resources for ours and future generations. By the year 2050, it is estimated that our global population will likely reach 9 billion people. The challenge of sustainable development is to move forward in such a way that very single of these people will able to enjoy a sustainable quality of life without being detrimental to our natural resources. There are 7 sustainable development goals. And they are no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, general equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduce inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institution, and lastly, partnership for the goals. No poverty. Sustainable Development Goals number 1 is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Achieving SDG 1 would end extreme poverty globally by 2030. The 5 implementation of social protection system ensuring equal rights to ownership, basic service technology, and economic resource, and the building of resilience to environmental, economic, and social disaster. Sustainable Development Zero Hunger. Sustainable Development Goal 2 is to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. The 5 outcomes target are ending hunger and improving access to food, ending all forms and malnutrition, agriculture productivity, sustainable food production system and resilient agricultural practices, and genetic diversity of seeds, cultivated plants and farm and domesticated animals, investments, research and technology. Number 3, good health and well-being. Ensure healthy lives to promote well-being for all at all age. The first 9 targets are outcome targets. Those are reduction of maternal mortality, ending all preventable deaths under 5 years of age, fight communicable disease, ensures reduction of mortality from non-communicable disease, and promote mental health, prevent and treat substance abuse, reduce road injuries and deaths, grant universal access to sexual and reproductive care, family planning and education, achieve universal health coverage, and reduce illness and deaths from hazardous chemicals and pollution. Number 4, quality education. SDG 4 is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities of all. The 7 outcome-oriented targets are free primary and secondary education, equal access to quality pre-primary education, affordable techniques, vocational and higher education, increased number of people with relevant skill for financial success, elimination of all discrimination in education, universal literacy and numeracy, and education for sustainable development and global citizenship. Number 5, gender equality or SDG 5 is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls through the pledge to leave no one behind. No one behind countries have communicated to fast track progress for this behind first. SDG 5 aims to grant women, girls equal rights, opportunities to live free without discrimination, including workplace discrimination or any violence. This is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Number 6, clean water and sanitation is to ensure a viability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. The 6 outcome-oriented targets include safe and affordable drinking water, open defecation and provide access to sanitation and hygiene, improve water equality, wastewater treatment and safe reuse, increase water use efficiency, and ensure freshwater supplies, implement IWRM, protect and restore water ecosystems. Number 7. Affordable and clean energy. SDG 7 is to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Progress is expanding access to electricity has been made in several countries, notably India, Bangladesh, and Kenya. The global population without access to electricity decreased to about 840 million in 2017 from 1.2 billion in 2010. Sub-Saharan Africa remains the region with the largest access deficit. Renewable energy accounted for 17.5% of global total energy consumption in 2016. Of the three end uses of renewable electricity, heat, and transport, the use of renewable grew fastest with respect to electricity between 2018 and 2030. The annual average investment will need to reach approximately $55 billion to expand energy access, about $700 billion to increase renewable energy, and $600 billion to improve energy sufficiency. Number 8. Decent work and economic growth. SDG number 8 is to promote sustain inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. Over the past 5 years, economic growth in least developed countries has been increasing at an average rate of 4.3%. In 2018, the global growth rate of real GDP per capita was 2%. In addition, the rate for latest development countries was 4.5% in 2018 and 4.8% in 2019. Less than 7% growth rate target in SDG 8. In 2019, 22% of the world's young people were not in employment, education, or training, a figure that has hardly changed since 2005. Addressing youth employment means finding solution with and for young people who are seeking a decent and productive job. Such solutions should address and both supply, education, skills development, and training, and demand. In 2018, the number of women engaged in the labor force was put at 48%, while that of men was 75%. Number 9. Industry innovation and infrastructure is to build resilient infrastructure, promote exclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. In 2019, 14% of the world's workers were employed in manufacturing activities. This percentage has not changed much since 2000 or 2000. The share of manufacturing employment was the largest in Eastern and Southeastern Asia, and the smallest in Sub-Saharan Africa. The intensity of global carbon dioxide emission has declined by nearly one quarter since 2000, showing a general decoupling of carbon dioxide emission from GPT growth. As at 2020, nearly the entire world populations live in an area covered by a mobile network. Millions of people are still unable to access the internet due to cost coverage and other reasons. It is estimated that just 53% of world's population are currently internet users. Number 10, reduce reduce inequality, or SDG 10 is to reduce income inequality within the among countries. In 73 countries during the period of 2012 to 2020 to 2017, the bottom 40% of the population saw its income grow. Still, in all countries with data, the bottom 40% of the population received less than 25% of the overall income of consumption. Women are likely to victims of discrimination than men. Among those with disabilities, 3 in 10 personally experience discrimination with higher level among women with disabilities. The main ground of discrimination mentioned by this woman was not the disability itself but religion, ethnicity, and sex, pointing to the urgent need for measures to tackle multiple and intersecting forms of discrimination. In 2019, 54% of countries have a comprehensive set of policy measures to facilitate orderly, safe, regular, and responsible migration and mobility of people. Number 11, sustainable cities and communities is to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. The 7 outcome targets include safe and affordable housing, affordable and sustainable transport system, inclusive and sustainable urbanization, protect the world's cultural and natural heritage, reduce the adverse effects of natural disasters, reduce the environmental impacts of cities, provide access to safe and inclusive green and public spaces. Number 12, responsible consumption and production. SDG 12 is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. The 11 targets of the goal are: implement the 10-year framework of program and sustainable consumption and production patterns, achieve the sustainable management and efficient use of natural resources, reducing by half per capita global food waste and retail and consumer level, and the reduction of food losses along production and supply chains, including post-harvest losses. Achieving the environmentally sound management of chemicals and all waste throughout their life cycle, reducing waste generation through prevention, reduction, recycling, and reuse, encourage companies to adopt sustainable practices, promote public procurement practices that are sustainable, and ensure that people everywhere have the relevant information and awareness for sustainable development. Number 13, climate action is to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact by regulating emission and promoting developments in renewable energy. The targets cover a wide range of issues surrounding climate action. There are 5 targets in total. The first 3 targets are output targets, stringent resilience, and adaptive capacity to climate-related disasters, integrate climate change measures into policies and planning, build knowledge and capacities to meet climate change. The remaining 2 targets are means of achieving targets. To implement the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, and to promote mechanisms to raise capacity for planning and management. The United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change is the primary international intergovernmental forum for negotiating the global response to climate change. Number 14, life below water. SDG 14 is to conserve and sustainably uses the ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. The first 7 targets outcome targets: reduce marine pollution, protect and restore ecosystem, reduce ocean acidification, sustainable fishing, conserve coastal and marine areas, and subside contributing to overfishing, increase the economic benefits from sustainable use of marine resources. Ocean and fisheries supports the global population economic, social, and environmental needs. Ocean are the source of the life planet and the global climate change regulator. They are the world's largest ecosystem, home to nearly a million known species. Ocean covered by more than two-thirds of the Earth's surface and contains 97% of the planet's water. They are essential for making the planet livable. Rainwater, drinking water, and climate are all regulated by ocean temperatures and currents. Over 3 billion people depend on marine life for their livelihood. However, there has been 26% increase in acidification since the Industrial Revolution. Effective strategies to mitigate adverse effects of increased ocean acidification are needed to advance the sustainable use of the ocean. Number 15. Life on land. SDG 15 is to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. The 9 outcome targets includes conserve and restore terrestrial and freshwater ecosystems, and deforestation and restore degraded forests, and desertification and restore degraded land. Ensure conservation of mountain ecosystem, protect biodiversity and natural habitats, protect access to generic resource and fair sharing of the benefits, eliminate poaching and trafficking of protected species, sharing of the benefits, eliminate poaching and trafficking of protected species, prevent invasive alien species on land and in water ecosystem, and integrate ecosystem and biodiversity in governmental planning. Number 16. Peace, justice, and strong institutions. SDG 16 is to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and exclusive institutions at all levels. The goal has 10 outcomes target. Reduce violence, protect children from abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and violence, promote the rule of law and ensure equal access to justice, combat organized crime and illicit financial and arms flows, substantially reduce corruption and bribery, development effective account and transparent institution, ensure responsive, inclusive, and representative decision making, strengthen the participation in global governance, provide universal legal identity, ensure public access to information, and protect fundamental freedoms. Last, number 17. Partnership for the goals. SDG 17 is to strengthen the means of implementation, revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. These goals has 19 outcomes targets, and 24 indicators. Increasing international cooperation is seen as vital to achieving each of the 16 previous goals. Goal 17 is included to assure that countries and organizations cooperate instead of compete, developing multi-stakeholders partnerships to share knowledge, expertise, technology, and financial support is seen as critical to overall success of SDGs. The goal encompasses improving north-south and south-to-south cooperation, and public-private partnership which involve civil societies and is specifically mentioned. Indeed, sustainable development really means a lot for us humans to in the future generations. Therefore, by taking responsibility of turning off the light and fans before going outdoors, caring for worms, farms and using the jars of worm juice collected by the children as fertilizer used at home, sorting and recycling waste after meals and encouraging the use of reusable containers to store snacks and meals, and follow the rules and regulations set by our government regarding sustainable development project is our own way of helping our planet. So be wise, be keen and proactive. That's all. Thank you.